Welcome, folks, to the Not Mike and Mike Show. My name is Brian Nelson, alongside my co-host Mike McLeod, and this is the review. Mike, we've done a lot of predicting on our show.
We have
predicted playoffs for both the NBA. We predicted what the MLB playoffs would be, as well as a mock draft. And a lot of people, they get away from their predictions and never address whether they got it right. Well, not on this show, folks. We're going to bring to you the results of all the predictions that we've had, which ones we got right, which ones we unfortunately got wrong, Brian. And we'll man up to what we predicted. And first, we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs before going to the NFL mock draft that we did, and finally decide if we want to flip-flop on our predictions that we made for baseball and NBA free agency. But let's start first with the NBA playoffs. Mike, let's take a look at your record for the predictions you made for the 2016 NBA playoffs. Now, Mike's record was 6-2 in the first round. Second round, 3-1. Conference finals, perfect, 2-0. But got both the Warriors and Cleveland, and obviously we don't know the results of the finals. But what can you say about your record, Mike?
Well, I'm pretty great. I did predict the Portland upset, which I was pretty proud of, because I didn't expect that Chris Paul was going to get hurt and make it the second worst team in the NBA. But I did predict the Blazers to really upset some folks. And then I kind of went chalk, and I almost got it right. Yeah,
but you did pick Charlotte, and they didn't exactly – they caused a little scare against Miami in that first round in those games 3 and 4 at home. But ultimately, it took a dominating performance from Dwayne Wade and just a Game 7 takeover for the Heat to even move on. And you picked him to go to conference finals. I know. And who would have predicted that? It would be me, because I believed in the Heat from the start of the end of the regular season. I thought their change of play and going small with Joe Johnson in the lineup, I thought that would really help them in the playoffs. I thought that would push them past Toronto. And speaking of that series, let's take a look at my record. I went 6-2 as well in the first round. I did not pick the Blazers, but I picked the Heat, so we have an equal record in the first round. In the second round, I went 2-2 instead of your 3-1, so you got me there, buddy.
Yeah, I think we both predicted the Spurs to just kind of roll over OKC. Didn't have much outside of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, but it turns out those two are pretty good.
Yeah, what do you think about Kevin Durant's performance in the playoffs? Do you think that's enough to maybe keep him in Oklahoma City?
Well, I mean, he's going to perform that well no matter where he is. So I don't think him performing well is going to make him stay. That doesn't make sense. But if you look at the way Russell Westbrook played, the way Steven Adams played, nobody really talked about Steven Adams as like an integral third piece before that Warriors series. So they do have pieces, and I don't know. It's going to be weird. I think Kevin Durant is going to do what Kevin Durant wants, and in my mind, that means going somewhere else. I think he's going to go to the Wizards.
I think it put a lot of doubt in my mind, though, just because we kind of made the free agency predictions earlier in a previous episode, and I said he was going, and I felt pretty much 100% sure Kevin Durant wasn't going to have a successful run in the playoffs, but he far exceeded expectations in beating the Spurs in less than 7 games, and then giving the Warriors a true test, pushing them to 7 games. I think if he looks around at the talent and, like you said, the growth of Steven Adams, maybe if Roberson can get a jump shot and if Dion Waiters can be an actual productive player.
No, that's hoping for too much. But if you would ask me after Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, is Kevin Durant staying? I'd go, oh, yeah, sure. They're going on to the finals. They're going to beat the Warriors. They're going to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Everything's going to be good in Oklahoma City. And then here it is, Game 6 about to be of the finals. The Thunder are nowhere to be seen. I think you see a meltdown like that over the course of 3 games. Not even really a meltdown. They played well, but the Warriors are just the Warriors. You know what I mean? Like, so, by the way, I like the Cleveland garb.
Yeah, let's talk about the East a little bit. Cleveland surprised a lot of folks in this playoff run. Just absolutely, I mean, they were good, and obviously people picked them to go to the finals, but they just dominated the East. And did you expect them to be on a pace of shooting alongside the Warriors in terms of three-point production? J.R. Smith's three-point production. What's with the size, Mike?
Because they played Detroit, they played Atlanta, and then they played Toronto. Not exactly world beaters.
So you're saying it's like the Washington Generals versus the Harlem Globetrotters. So the stats that I saw, those were just an illusion.
Inflated. And Kevin Love had never lost a game in America until the finals.
And what do you think about this finals matchup so far? Obviously, we're in the process of the NBA Finals. What can you say about the Warriors pretty much dominating, and they kind of got an unlucky break with the Game 5 suspension of Draymond Green?
I think that it's about to be Game 6. We're recording this at about 4 o'clock right now. The game's in about 2 hours. So I'm going on the record and saying that the Warriors are going to win Game 6 in Cleveland. I think it's going to be a breakout performance for, not even breakout, but Klay Thompson is going to have an outstanding performance. I would like to see him win Finals MVP. That's just me, because you don't spend that much time on Kyrie Irving, having to switch on LeBron James, and then still putting up the numbers that he didn't put up in games 1 through 3, but he really won them Game 4, along with like Harrison Barnes and Steph Curry dropping 38. But I like to see Klay Thompson winning Finals MVP.
And I will go on the flip side. I think Cleveland, with the momentum they got in Game 5, they can force a Game 7. So I'll go on the record, pick my shirt, and I'll say Cleveland will force Game 7. Going to force me to pick Game 7 right now. I'm going to still pick the Warriors. But I think the NBA is going to be definitely happy. They're going to make some real bank to get a couple extra finals
Don't tell
games.
me that you're a conspiracy theorist that said, oh, we're going to make Draymond Green suspended so that we can force a Game 5 so that Kyrie Irving and LeBron James can go off for 41 each to force a Game 6, and then they're going to go off for 50 each to force a Game 7 just so the Warriors can win the Game 7.
All I'm saying is that when Draymond Green crane kicks a dude and doesn't get suspended, but then he gives a little love tap to LeBron, and all of a sudden he accumulates too many flagrant fouls, I'm saying something's a little fishy.
The last point I have on that, how do you upgrade something to a flagrant 1 when it wasn't called a common foul on the floor? How do you upgrade what happened under the basket to a flagrant 1 for something that didn't get called on the floor? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Well, there's a lot of questions for the NBA Finals, and it's been fun, and we've gotten a lot of good records out of it in terms of our predictions. Mike, got to give it up to him. He did a little bit better than me. Got one more win under his belt. And you're the champ when it comes to the NBA Finals. I got to give it up to you. So that's our NBA Finals review. And when we come back, we'll review our NFL mock draft, the Not Mocking Mock Draft. And stay tuned, folks.
Can't get enough of baseball? Well, you're in luck, because Solano's own Billy and Louise Yarborough Field will be hosting the Rally Factory Rockhounds Collegiate All-Star Team, managed by Sac State's pitching coach Andrew Ayers.
The team consists of NCAA D1 and D2 and NAIA players. Be sure to check out the Rockhounds and our other SESN programs on our YouTube page at youtube.com/Solano College Sports Network, on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Solano College Sports Network, or on Fairfield Cable Access Channel 28 if you live in the area. Thank you for supporting the Solano College Sports Network.
Welcome back to the Not Mike and Mike show. We're here with the review, and we're going to talk about the Not Mocking Mock Draft that we did for 2016. And Mike, our first half of the draft did pretty well.
Yeah, honestly, I was looking at Todd McShay's final mock draft, and I couldn't find Mel Kiper because I'm not an ESPN insider.
It's just a sham. Don't be an ESPN insider. They just want your money.
I mean, we
Just
want your money
trust us
too.
when it
Donate. I have a PayPal.
Be the Not Mike and Mike insider. Coming soon. Back to the mock draft.
So we got Goff and Wentz. I think that was pretty much just across the board.
Yeah.
That was what was going to happen. Nobody really predicted what was going to happen half an hour before the draft with Laramie Tunsil, a video coming to light of him just taking rips out of a bong with a mask on, a gas mask on, and then he has the balls to say, you know, that was my friends. It was my first time. You don't take your first time from a gas mask. So he dropped all the way to 13. Nobody had him at number 13. But you're not gonna believe me because I didn't say it, but I had a feeling that the Chargers were gonna do something weird. I said on air that they were gonna trade back to number 5, but I had no problem with Bosa going to them, but I thought it was going to be a bad pick. I know I said that he wasn't a top 10 talent, but the Chargers aren't a top 10 team. So, it's a match made in heaven there.
So you just want all the bad players to go to the bad teams you don't care about, and that way the
As long as they're in the Raiders division, I really don't care what happens to them.
I think that's a really bad fit, honestly, for Bosa, though. If you're actually interested in having Joey Bosa be a successful NFL player, going to a 3-4 team when you're you haven't shown the ability to stand up as a defender on the defensive side. You're really just a down in the dirt pass rusher, not somebody who can stand up on the outside, which the Chargers run a 3-4 defense. So not sure what the Chargers are thinking there. But
maybe they'll switch to a 4-3 in the future.
Yeah, maybe. And I think if you're the coach, maybe you're not too happy with them choosing Joey Bosa because, hey, maybe he doesn't fit your scheme. We'll find a scheme that fits Joey Bosa, our number 3 overall pick. But after that surprising Joey Bosa pick, we kind of got in a roll there with Ezekiel Elliott at 3, Jalen Ramsey at Elliott at 4, Ramsey at 5. We didn't get Ronnie Stanley going to the Ravens, and most people didn't expect Ronnie Stanley to go to the Ravens. They thought Tunsil could possibly go to the Ravens after he fell, and yet again, because of the incident, and man, he didn't do any favors for himself after when he admitted to taking money from his coaches. So just compound problems on top of more problems, and Tunsil takes a meteoric fall down the top of the first round.
Yeah, but after that number 6 pick, we got 3 in a row. Buckner, I was the one. I'm going to take credit for that one. I said that there's no way that the Niners pass on a guy from Oregon with Chip Kelly as the coach. Everybody had Conklin going to the 49ers because that's the need. They need an offensive tackle. It made sense, and of course, that's not what they do.
No, they go with their tried and true Oregon nepotism, and we got another 6'7", 290-pound defensive lineman. So
this just in, 49ers trade for Kiko Alonso.
Did that really just happen?
No.
Oh, okay, I was about to walk off the set if Kiko Alonso just went to the 49ers. That put a little palpitations in my heart there. Let's move on before I keel over, and we'll go to the number 8 pick. The Titans trade up to get Jack Conklin, who we predicted would be picked at number 15. So we'll still take credit with Conklin going to the right team in the Titans.
And then the next pick, also one of those. We predicted Floyd going to the Bears, but we had him going at number 11. So in terms of players going to teams, same goes with Ramsey. We thought they would trade up to 3 to get Ramsey. He was still there at 5.
Yeah. And so that was our third to last pick. That was correct. Eli Apple went to the Giants in a surprising move that I know, Mike, you wanted him to go to the Raiders. What did you think about Eli Apple going to the Big Apple?
It made sense. I really liked him. I think that the Giants still have needs. We originally picked Joey Bosa just because you were adamant that Joey Bosa needed to be in the top 10.
Yeah, crazy.
And so we made sure that he was in the top 10 with the 10th pick, even though it didn't make sense really.
Yeah, he only went top 3. So I'm so crazy that I want Joey Bosa in the top 10.
Okay, well, he's not 10th.
Yeah.
So Eli Apple honestly probably would have been the pick if I had listened to you earlier, but, to each their own. And then we got Hargreaves, the third, going 11th, and then Sheldon Rankins going 12th. So we got back-to-back picks there.
Yeah, so if you're keeping tallies, that's 9 out of the first 12 that we got. From there, it's a different story because all of the dominoes fell after the Bosa pick, the Tunsil fall, and a lot of people dropped, and so that just ruins mock drafts when it comes to picks.
We started out 9 for 12. We ended 9 for 31, 9.5 for 31. We did have a Fetty going with the last pick in the first round, but he went to the Seahawks instead of the Broncos. But, like I said, it's a half.
And you talked about Todd McShay, and what was the numbers comparison between ours and the experts?
So, like I said, couldn't find Mel Kiper, but Todd McShay, I found his on Reddit, and he had 7 out of the first 12 through Rankins. We all had Rankins at number 12. And then he had the wide receiver for the Vikings.
Treadwell going to the Vikings, and that was it. So
so we actually got more right in the first round than Todd McShay.
So, folks, 2017 NFL Draft comes along. Come here to the Not Mike and Mike show. This has been the review. You have seen us review our NBA picks, our NFL mock draft, and when we come back, we might be second-guessing some predictions we made earlier. Check it out when we come back.
If you have an interest in a career in sports broadcasting,
whether it's behind the scenes or on camera,
then this is the class for you.
Class is held every Wednesday from 1:30 to 4:30 in room 121 alongside the library building.
For more information, contact Greg Poff. That's me at solano.edu.
We hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
It's more than just sports. It's an education.
Mike, the Astros better than the Blue Jays.
I mean, it was good in theory. You look at last year, they could have been good. I don't know.
And so what exactly are you going to change besides all of it?
I'm keeping the Royals. I'm keeping the Royals
There
as
you
number
go,
one.
folks.
Blue Jays go up to number 2. And then, obviously, the Astros are just no longer in it. So I'm going to
They're
go...
just out of this world.
I'm going to go Texas number 3 because they're running away with the AL West. Obviously, there's not going to be 2 teams that are vying for the 5th place wild card spot. I'm actually going to go your Boston Red Sox
There you go.
in 4th place as the home team for the wild card game. And then, I don't know, it could be a number of teams. It could be Detroit. It could even be the White Sox. I joked that the White Sox are going to just completely waste Chris Sale's career, and they're 2.5 back in 4th place. So, you know, I don't want to make prediction. I'm going to say Detroit as the 5th place team just for fun. I don't know.
So tune in a couple months when he changes it again because he's going to be wrong because the Red Sox are going to win the AL East. Mark my words. All right, so you got off kind of easy. Now it's my turn. Let's. I think the video just.
Yeah,
speaks for
okay,
itself.
go ahead.
Let's throw it to the video.
I say he'll leave. I think he will go to a team where he can be the star player, get the most touches. I think he's tired of being the second
Go
fiddle.
back to LA.
Yeah.
Okay. Dwight Howard, player option.
I'll say you said it's like 22 million?
Yeah.
I think he'll opt back in. I think that's a lot of money. I don't think he'll get that on the open market.
No, I'd ask you if you want to change that prediction, but it's kind of hard to change it when you pick both sides.
Yeah.
You're always out at me for picking 2 things. You picked 2 things about the same guy.
See, what happened was we had a little technical malfunction in our first take, so
That's true.
I had a chance to think about it, and then I changed my mind. It's a fair thing to
No,
do.
it's not.
I mean,
No,
they,
it's not.
They didn't know
22 million
episode.
is, 22 million. It does make sense for him to opt in. Are you sticking with it though?
No, I'm going to change my mind again. So the original idea I had, that Brian was good. The Brian that says opt back in, that was a mistake because you look at what happened after the playoffs. JB Bickerstaff isn't the coach anymore, and they filled that interim.
I mean, to be
with,
fair, JB Bickerstaff was not much of a coach to begin with.
Yeah,
so.
I just wanted to say that Mike D'Antoni is now the coach of the Houston Rockets, and that relationship with the Lakers. Do you really think he's gonna go back to that after?
He could go back to the Lakers. I did mention that.
You did, and I thought that was a crazy idea when you first mentioned it, and now thinking about it, I might flip-flop on that as well. Dwight Howard, can you imagine that lineup with Russell and Clarkson in the backcourt if you get Ingram with the 2nd overall pick, Randall and Howard?
Actually, that's not entirely incredible.
Yeah, so, well, that's not incredible?
It's not incredible. Like, I can... Never mind.
You can believe that? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because you came up with it. So, Mike, the all-powerful Nostradamus of the basketball world, he predicted that Dwight Howard go to the Lakers, and I didn't believe him. I thought he could possibly go back, but on second thought, I don't think there's any chance Dwight Howard goes back to the Houston Rockets. So, I'm sticking with that for now. So, thank you for sticking around for our review show on the Not Mike and Mike show. For Mike McLeod, I'm Brian Ellison. Thank you for watching.